Hi guys, Angie Bell with My Fairy Treasures. Okay, we're back. Alright, so this is part 3 or part 4. I think part 3. Yeah. Okay. So when we left off, I had shown you guys how I turned these roses. This is one big huge rose and one smaller rose. And I turned it into a water feature. And also a little mountain here on top, which will put people there. Little silhouettes of people. Okay. And I went ahead and finished it up. Remember I told you I was going to finish it up. And I finished it up down here too. Okay. And to bring everything into the picture like I said I like to do, I went ahead and drizzled some of the water over the bird. I drizzled some of the water into this clock area here. I could have went further into this clock, but that's fine. Actually, it's not a total clock. I think this was a like a makeup palette, like a powder palette, real fancy one. And then I put a little watch face on top of that, like I layered that on top of that when I did my collaging. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go back up to the top here because we're going to do, sometimes I create bubbles up here and sometimes I create planets. I'm going to create bubbles up here because we're going to do planets on the bodies of the birds. So the bodies of the birds are going to be their own little worlds. So I know that sounds weird, but it will, you'll understand it as we keep going. Okay, so let's come in on the sky a little closer. Okay, so what I like to do on the sky is take some white acrylic paint. Okay, take some white acrylic paint. I'm going to use the lid itself of the acrylic bottle as like a little round stamp. Okay, you don't want too much paint on it. And just here and there create some bubbles. Okay. And we'll do one over there too. Okay, and I'm going to wipe it off now. Wipe off my lid. So that was just the lid of my acrylic bottle, of my acrylic paint. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Then I like to also use the tops of one of my like Stickles bottles. So it's just like this size. And if you don't have these sizes, you can just simply find something else or just take some white paint and make a little circle with your finger. Okay. This just gives you a little head start. Sometimes I do just go ahead and, ooh, I don't like that. And I'll just go ahead and fill it in with just white paint and make a little circle. You can do that too. This is just another way of doing it. Okay, when you do get paint on here, kind of go like this so you don't get too much paint because you don't want too much. Or maybe you do. It's your world. You can do whatever the hell you want. I should never, especially in art, you should never say, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so there's another little bubble. Okay, so now let me wipe that off. Okay, and I'm just doing that so I have two different sizes of bubbles. Also, this is the same technique for planets that I'm going to show you right now. And I'll show you the only difference between my bubbles and my planets, and I'll explain that in a minute. Anyway, I'm going to use Jane's, what are these called? These are called color sticks. Jane Davenport's color sticks. And I'm going to use French Kiss, which is like a really pretty pink. Eccentric, which is purple. And then this magenta color, which she calls Make a Moo. Anyway. Okay, so we're going to use these three colors. Now, you could do the same thing and use acrylic paint. So if I was going to use acrylic paint, I could use this color here, this pink, this purple pizzazz, this rosy pink, and I don't even have a magenta out, but let's just say this. Okay, so you can do the same thing with just some cheapy acrylic paints. Okay, but I have Jane Davenport's and I really want to use them, so that's what I am doing. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. You know what? Let's first also paint in these bubbles, some of them. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Make sure that my thing is still on. Yes, it is. Okay. So let's just, I don't know if I wanted to use this brush or not, but let's just, okay, some of the ones that are like this, let's just paint these in white. And the reason we're painting them in white is so that we have a nice white surface. To paint on top of, so our colors show up really nicely. Okay. Now you guys see me do this with my finger where I just take white paint and I just take white paint like this and just create like a circle. You can do that too. I just decided to use like a little pattern with the paint bottles for my circles. Just, I don't know, just another technique. You decide what you want to do. Now the small ones I'm going to show you, we're going to put swooshes in those. I'm going to leave them see-through, okay? All right. Let's dry these larger circles. 1, 2, 3, and 4 over there. You see it. Okay, so let me dry these. Now, if you're going to use acrylic paint, a lot of times what I do is I go right over the white paint because the white paint helps me mesh all of the acrylic paint together. It keeps it really nice and wet, okay? But because I'm using these, which are water soluble, and they mush really easily and they don't dry, I won't need to do that. So I want to do it on a dry surface. Okay. Sorry, you can fast forward to this if you like. Okay, it's acrylic paint, so it dries pretty darn quick. Okay, so I'm going to take, and what's so cool about all Jane's new products is they're made to look like makeup. So these look like lipsticks. Doesn't that look like a cool lipstick? Look at these. They're so fabulous, and this is what their tips of them look like. Isn't that cool? I love it. Okay, so these are like water-soluble crayons. So they react with water. They're you can just not even use water and just mush them around. But look at the delivery system. You can just take it and just do what I'm doing. Just blend them in. Flippin' fabulous. Okay, now I'm going to wet my finger with my spit and mush this around. If you want, you can use like a baby wipe and wipe your finger. I just think it sounds more interesting to say I'm going to use my spit. I got that from Laura Marie Jenkins when she does her what does she call it? Her stabiloing with her stabilo. She just uses her spit. I know I laugh every time about it. I just think it's funny. Okay. So, we're just going to put this in here. Are these fun, you guys, or what? You can use these, if you draw girls, you can use these on your girls and use them for eyeshadow, for blush, for lips. So fun. This right now, I just decided to mush it, and I didn't even wet my finger. And look how it just mushed around. These are fabulous. I'm liking it better, not even wetting my finger. Okay, so that's why I'm adding just a little bit more, and just if you want the color a little bit more intense, don't even wet your finger. So I just lied. Don't use your spit. Okay. But you might want to keep a baby wipe around just to wipe off your fingers so you're not, you know, keep contaminating color. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to do 2 bubbles at a time. These are going to be bubbles, not planets. Oh. And you guys, I'm going to start titling this type of work called, I'm going to start titling it Salvaged Art. I had some other art that I called salvage art, but I think this is salvaged art too, because when you're doing like these worlds, you're taking magazine pieces or calendar bits from everywhere, you know, and a lot of times I get magazines that are going to be thrown away. I get calendars, especially from Dollar Tree at the end of the season. I buy them anyway, even in season, but out of season you can get them for, I got them for a penny last year. And these are things that are going to end up in the trash can if we don't get these things. And so you're salvaging them. So that's why I'm calling them, I'm going to start calling this work salvaged art. Because you are salvaging. I mean, you're getting all these magazine bits. Eventually, if we don't do something with these little magazine bits, they're going to get thrown in the garbage. It's the truth. Look how cool these look with these. Okay? Obsessed. And let me show you how they look when they come. I have 2 sets because she has 2 sets. If she would have had 3, I would have bought all 3. So this is the set here. Look how cool that is. And this is her artwork on the front. Just the line work. Isn't that cool? Love. I want to draw my